Now, I want to move on to a different topic. There was a great article in the New York Times yesterday, in the Sunday Times, called The Falling Down Professions. And it's about doctors and lawyers who wish they were not. It says that about a fifth of the associates in large law firms in any given year drop out of large law firms, and 20% of lawyers overall will suffer depression at some point in their careers. It says as of 2006, nearly 60% of doctors polled by the American College of Physicians executives said they had considered getting out of medicine because of low morale in doctors now, and nearly 70% knew someone who already had left medicine. A lot of them don't like medicine anymore because they've been turned into paper pushers. Law and medicine, we read, have always been very demanding, but they were prestigious in the past. They made good money. They had authority. They were perched atop the other professions. Everybody thought being a doctor or a lawyer was the greatest thing to be. But we realize today that they've lost their allure and their status, and it is not about money. They say that the pay is still good, and people know that. But they say something is missing, say many doctors, lawyers, and career experts, and that is the old sense of purpose, of respect, of living at the center of American society, and in essence embodying its definition of what is success. That is being a doctor or a lawyer. So what is going on is multifaceted as to why people are feeling these things. In fact, applications to law schools and medical schools have declined from recent highs. The number of law school applicants dropped from 98,000 in 04 to 83,000 in 06. And that was on top of a 5% slip the year before. How about medical schools? Remember how hard it used to be to get into a medical school? In 97, there were 46,000 applicants. It's now 42,000. So what are youngsters who are intelligent doing now? Well, I guess they all want to be a web designer or something like that. Some still go into these fields because of the higher calling of the profession of being a doctor or a lawyer, and they don't care about the social cachet. They care about doing good for society. But for a brief segment right now, are there any doctors or lawyers out there who wish they were not? Or are there any former doctors or lawyers who left their professions and went into something else? If you can, call us at 1-800-449-8255. You can do so. And I'm doing this because I want young people to see if they can learn something from your call. Would you recommend that they do become a lawyer or a doctor? Now, let's start with money. Money is what we're all interested in. Do you know that associates at major New York law firms start at $150,000 to $180,000 a year? That's right at a law school. Partners at the country's biggest 100 firms took home an average of $1.2 million in 06. Now, that's paltry compared to talk show hosts, but nevertheless, it's a lot for the professions other than the media. So outside of the media, they're making very good money. Many senior investment bankers, through bonuses and salaries, will average $2.25 million to $2.75 million. Doctors, whether you know it or not, vary in income tremendously. A typical physician might earn $150,000 to $300,000. A surgeon, $250,000 to $400,000. A top surgeon can earn $750,000 a year, and a superstar surgeon $1 million or more a year. That's not really a lot of money for the kind of skill set that they have when you think about that. But something is going on. Things are going on. And what is it that's going on? Well, I don't really know what's going on. I have a feeling it's because of the control that the doctors and lawyers have lost. The lawyers have lost control of their lives in terms of the hours they have to put in. The doctors have lost control to the HMOs who make them, call up a clerk to get permission to assign a wheelchair to a person with a muscular dystrophy. The doctors are also very upset with men like John Edwards, the biggest fraud in the history of the election I've ever seen, a man who built his fortune through lawsuits based upon fraudulent documentation and moronic audiences in the Ozarks. I don't know how he gets away with this. Well, I know how. He's got idiots in the media who won't challenge him and say, look, Mr. Edwards, you say you're for change and you're an independent, but you're a crook, basically. You're a crooked lawyer who made all of his money lying to dumb juries without teeth in the Ozarks. You told him that a person who was born with a congenital disease was made this way by a doctor's mistake, Mr. Edwards. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? John Edwards, have you no shame? Well, you see, I'm not in the major media in that sense, or I'd ask him those questions. Now you know why Obama won't come on the show. This is the gold mine. This is the motherlode of independent voters. Aren't you shocked that they don't know that? Or is it that they got something to hide and they're afraid of a little truth? So anyway, the question to you is the falling down professions of lawyers or doctors. These are not my opinions. I have nothing against lawyers or doctors per se. It was a great article in the New York Times that I thought was worthy of airing on the Savage Nation today. And I'm asking you, if you're a doctor or a lawyer who wishes you were not, why not? Or what would you say to a youngster? Would you recommend that they become a doctor or a lawyer? Let's begin in the land of lawyers in New York City on WOR. Tom, welcome. Go ahead, please.
Michael, how are you? I've
Good.
been a lawyer for about 8 years now. Graduated from a law school in New York. Was born and raised in New York. And my advice to a youngster who was in college or prior to college, determining whether or not they'd like to be a lawyer, my advice to them would be to go a different route. And it boils down, in my opinion, or my experience, I should say, is it's not what I thought it was going to be when I entered college and entered law school. The money is good. I'd rather not say where I'm employed, but I do work.
No, I understand. Well, what is it about law that grates you, makes you depressed, frankly? It just doesn't make you happy.
Well, quite frankly, I'm a litigator, and I specialize in commercial litigation as well as plaintiffs' personal injury work, which you routinely call slip and fall lawyers.
All right, whatever. Forget what I say in my characterizations. You know, we all use lawyers whether we like them or not. But the fact of the matter is there's something in the profession you don't like, and what is it?
It's just a game. It's just a big game. It's whoever has the best poker face wins, especially with personal injury litigation. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
All right, in other words, you're right. In other words, what system, like what judge system you're in or whatever. But, you know, I was shocked to read about 10 years ago that justice and law are not one and the same. In fact, justice has nothing to do with the law. That's fundamentally, you probably went in as a kid thinking that you were going to bring justice to issues, right?
I thought for certain I was going to do right by clients and remedy wrongs that were done to my clients. And at the end of the day, some clients are happy, other clients are not happy, and sometimes it's outside of my control. I do what I do.
In other words, cases get decided for reasons other than justice.
All the time, cases get decided sometimes because the judge and the attorney know each other very, very well. Cases get decided.
I once had an arbitration in New York City many, many years ago before I was in radio. I hired some shyster lawyer in New York. Cost me a lot of money, which I really had to scrape together. And during the break, I happened to be in the stall in the bathroom, and the lawyer I hired didn't know I was in there. You know what's coming, don't you? He went in the bathroom. I overheard him talking to the opposing attorney, and they worked a deal out on my behalf. Can you believe this? Isn't that what you're talking about?
Yes, I can believe that because it happens.
I was in an arbitration against a corrupt vitamin company from Long Island at the time. They should be visited upon the fifth generation, the crooks that they were. Thanks for the call.